And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to an impromptu surprise Tommo's Race Chinwag, where the title does not deceive you. The 2026 Madrid Grand Prix is confirmed. Roll intro, new, shiny, fancy intro. Thank you all for joining me. We knew that, we didn't know the news was coming today. It was heavily suggested, being rumoured. I saw rumours yesterday that it would be announced today. It's been announced today. There was some leaked shots of, coaches with vinyl wraps on and buildings with logos on in Madrid that suggested that the announcement was pretty imminent. And it's here, the 2026 Madrid Grand Prix. But first of all, make sure, if you're audio only, if you want to check Spotify, Apple Podcasts, do so. If you just want to listen, you don't need to see. You don't need to see the images. The images help in this one, to be fair, because we will be looking at a track map for the proposed 2026 Madrid Grand Prix circuit. Welcome, Ali, Hawkeye, Dimmy, Vincent, Gladiator, Jonathan, Charmander, Funky Carton, Boneless Watermelon, David G, Diego, Nowhere Newsman, Shantanu, Nutterwood, Dill, Harsh, Michael, Prithvi, Liam, Wallob, David, Siobhan, Sam, Sava, Michael, Smith, XY, One in a Million, Gamerdad, Redical, Daniel, Sam, Athara, Camille, Andrew, Snock, Hakeem, Andre, JGM Racing, Mason, Alexa, Lassie, David, Leo, Chill, Flynn, MBD, Jack, Ali, Risa, and Moses. So, what do we think? Well, we can't really break down what we think until we see the track. So, let's have a look at the proposed 2023 Madrid Grand Prix circuit. I can't remember the name. There's like something de España, I guess, in terms of the official Grand Prix name. And this won't necessarily be taking over from Barcelona. But we'll get into that. 10-year deal. 10-year deal at the IFEMA. What is IFEMA? What is it? I actually don't know what it is. What is it? It's an events building. It's an event space. Okay. We create relationships between people, brands, and experiences. Leisure, tourism, art, fashion. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So it's kind of like a V&A. Would we say it's like a V&A? I guess. But yes, this is the circuit we have been bestowed with for the Madrid Grand Prix. Now, again, the deal with Barcelona runs out at the end of 2026. There is potentially going to be, as long as nothing changes between now and then, 2 Spanish Grand Prix in 2026. But Catalonia does not have its deal extended beyond after 2026. So, and obviously with this announcement, the likelihood of Barcelona sticking around on the grid is pretty low, I would imagine. But first impressions, what do we think? David, literally no long stretches. Lassie, so which way does it go? It goes clockwise. Yes. It doesn't actually show it in this picture. That's a good point. This circuit is clockwise. It's clockwise. So the finish line on the left-hand side, the west, and there's a braking zone, and then it's a tight left, right, and then you're kind of cooking. Yeah, what do we think? Girl, it looks all right to me. We'll have to wait and see, though. Ewan, nothing wrong with Barcelona now, so why replace it? Oh, it's a contentious call, Ewan, that is for sure. And I like the idea of a street purpose-built mix. Yes, they're calling it a hybrid circuit. You can see in the bottom corner, hybrid, 5.41474 miles long, an approximate lap time of 132.026. It's very precise for an approximate lap time. 110,000 plus spectators. So some of this will be street, some of this will be purpose built. It looks like the part of the track that is to the, I don't know if that's to the east or the west necessarily, but to the right of the image anyway, to the right of the picture we're seeing is the purpose built part, and then to the left is the street part, which first impressions, the purpose built part doesn't seem to have any potential passing opportunities. There's no hard braking zones. Um, I've got to be honest. The first thing that came to mind, and I don't want to just be negative for negative's sake. All right, okay. I'm not just going to be negative, but I've got to be honest as well. Okay, and when my initial thought is Sochi, I don't know if anyone else is getting that, but I don't know. I don't know. It feels a bit Sochi to me, which is not a good sign. Another street circuit no one asked for. Look, if you see that, okay. I'm glad I'm not alone. I think that the idea of a hybrid circuit where you've got, street circuit elements and the drivers really like street circuits. Generally speaking, anyway, a lot of the drivers are very positive about street circuits, the punishment there. Combining that with more traditional racing track elements, in theory, can be quite good. I don't know where there's... I mean, even where you look at where it says the Voldebras curve, probably butchered that. Why is that that looks like a good opportunity for a hard braking zone? No, like in the top right, but instead it's just this gradual curve that kind of, you're not going to get any overtaking opportunities there, and you've got grandstand in there as well. You can see from the pictures that's where a lot of the grandstands are on that side. So that's strange to me. And again, it's subject to FIA technical regulations and homologation. And look, I like to think the people who are designing these tracks are responsible for putting these together. And again, look, with a street circuit, there are restrictions in terms of where you can build. And I understand for the left-hand side of the track, it is what it is. And again, look, I think a good racing track doesn't have to have every corner be an overtaking opportunity. I'm all for corners that are more of a technical challenge for the drivers and ones that showcase the cars. I mean, look at the S's at Suzuka. How often do you see people passing there? Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone. They're high speed, quick turns, no overtaking, but you lose a lot of time if you mess that up in qualifying. You get a good and bad run out of that and it can set up and move later down the line. Like, not every single corner has to be an overtaking opportunity. And I like to think the people who've designed this track know what they're doing, because surely, right? Let's wait. I'm sure someone, Dime, if you watch him, knock this up in a Assetto Corsa, please, so that we can all give it a go. Lewis, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Appreciate it. I don't understand why they're starting to go down the street circuits route for track cars. Look, it's commercial, isn't it? It's money. It's money. Cities want street circuits because F1 is booming right now. This was lined up a while ago, right? F1 exhibition has been in Madrid. That opened up, last year? Was it last year F1 exhibition opened? They had Roman Grosjean's burnt out Haas chassis there. I remember that being one of the main things they kind of were talking about when that launched. And street circuits, I'm all for a blend, right? 24 races. I'm all for a blend of street and conventional circuits. I think that is what, you're seeing, for example, in Singapore last year, that really exposed a weakness in the Red Bull. And going forwards, assuming there is a convergence in the field, I like to think that we get to a stage where, all right, you go to a Monza and the Ferrari and the Red Bull are like the most competitive cars, but then you go to a Budapest and then maybe it's a McLaren and an Aston Martin that are the most competitive cars. And throughout the season, different tracks exploit weaknesses in different cars. That's and I think that's why Monaco's got a place in F1. Yes, it's not an overtaking nirvana by any stretch, okay, but you mandate it's two-stop. It's an unreal Saturday. Maybe even do one-shot quali on Saturday, because then you're not getting people crashing and ruining other people's laps and whatever. Like, I'm all for diversity of tracks on the calendar, but there is this commercial move towards street circuits. Again, cities want street circuits. A hybrid like this, you know, they've referenced Miami. Let's actually, and thank you, Sever, for the super chat. Crazy how Barcelona went from a go-to testing track, a solid track on the calendar, with new changes to being potentially cut from the calendar. Well, and again, like, I would certainly like to. It'd be interesting to see Barcelona return as purely the test track, you know, the pre-season testing track. That would be that'd be quite interesting. But yeah, that they actually, I was reading and it was referenced that Miami has been a bit of an inspiration, which they didn't use the word inspiration necessarily. I'm paraphrasing, but in the same kind of way that Miami's kind of a street circuit, but there's a lot of purpose-built elements that are permanent and stay there. It wouldn't be the Grand Prix I'd look at if I'm looking for inspiration for my new street circuit. Would I look at Miami, which is probably the worst street circuit? I'm trying to think of other street circuits that... Yeah, I think it's probably the worst street circuit, in my opinion. And Miami's a parking lot. So, I mean, you start to challenge the definition of what a street is. It's like Canada. That is in a park. Like, there's not a public road, but it's still kind of a street circuit. But it's not really. It's actually not really a street circuit, Canada. This could be worse than... Look, I'm calling it as I see it, right? And this looks like a Sochi regen to me. But anyway, right, let's get I'm put together. This is F1 posted an article about this. Everything you need to know about F1's newest circuit, Madrid. So let's read through it together. Let's get our joint thoughts. And actually, before we do this, I'm going to chuck a little poll up. And I want to know... based on initial impressions, will this be better or worse than Catalonia? Better. I'll do same. Just for racing. Just generally speaking. I know obviously this is only initial impressions, but are you feeling confident this will be... Because look, Catalonia is a track that's caught a lot of strays over recent years. And many of you who've been, you know, viewers for a while, right, and know my opinion on Catalonia. I'm a long-term Catalonia defender, because I do believe that is a great racing track. It just hasn't been for this modern version of Formula One. And changing up the final corner... The thing is, the problem with Catalonia is that in terms of facilities... It's pretty bad. I've never been, but I've only heard bad stuff about, like, even just like toilets, hospitality, all of that's bad, which is so important to F1 nowadays. This is a business. But I felt that there was still potential in Catalonia, you know, with these ground effect regulations, and it's dirty air is what has made Catalonia bad. That is it. It's not fundamentally... It's great for bike racing. It's great for touring cars. Like, dirty air is the problem. And it's just that track was really exposed by the dirty air problem. But if the regulations from 2026 onwards can... I mean, imagine if we have a really good 2026 Catalonia race and then they just leaves. Because obviously 2026, the aero regs are going to be tweaked a bit to hopefully reduce the dirty air again, because it's creeping back up. Yeah. So 59% of you think it's going to be worse than Catalonia, 30% the same as Catalonia, 11% better. 11% of you have got hope. You know, I respect that. I do respect it. But anyway, right, let's read this article then. Formula One Grand Premio de España. There you go. There you go. Formula One Gran Premio de España. Following the announcement, present the full lowdown on what's going on in the Spanish capital. So yeah, it's near the it's near airport. Only 16 kilometers from the city centre. I mean that is quite like it's not a walk, is it? You know what I mean? It's not a walk. Like it's a fair chunk of distance. Excellent car, bus, train, and subway routes joining the locations. Yeah, and public transport's the way forward. Zandvoort's doing it properly. Walk for you, maybe for you, Prithvi. But we're not. We haven't all quite got the cardio capacity. To be honest, I've never been to Madrid. I've always wanted to go to Madrid. I was actually in Sevilla last week for my birthday. Shout out the wife who surprised me with a trip to Sevilla. Had a few nights there. Beautiful city. Never been to Madrid, but would thoroughly recommend Sevilla. Beautiful. Right, it's set to be split across 2 primary zones. So, yeah, the first bit is that the street circuit bit spanning IFEMA's existing Requinto Ferial site. So that's the kind of straight bits, I guess, to the left. And we'll sit next to Real Madrid Sports City Training Grounds complex. Yeah, I remember hearing about that as well. It's nearby to Madrid's, not the Bernabeu, the training complex. Closer to Alonso's birthplace or Science? No, so Alonso's from Oviedo. Is Science from Madrid? Because I know he supports Real. I probably shouldn't be. I don't want this to. Wait, is that Ollie? No, it's not. It's Vesti. What's the layout made of? So 20 turns. Yeah, 1 minute 32 lap. From the very first suggestion to where we've ended up, there's been about 24 track models. But then there's been numerous sub-model investigations and different details as well. Explains F1's head of vehicle performance, Craig Wilson. 24 track models. 24. Damn. Glad you enjoyed the chat with Ollie. He's a good lad. 24 different... They did 24 and they came to this. Okay. I'd take their word for it. Oh dear. We've now got a concept we're happy to proceed development with, and we're excited to see it take shape. Fast sweeps to tight chicanes, lengthy straights to short bursts of the throttle. Varied experience to those behind the wheel. I think for be a big. You know what's concerning in this whole quote, in this entire quote? Nothing's mentioned about overtaking. You know, like, I don't know. Again, maybe it will shock us all, but this doesn't look like a overtaking Nirvana. You know, what were the other 23? Public roads, private land. Some sections feel more like a street circuit. Permanent setup, which, yeah, fundamentally I don't have an issue with. Blah, blah, blah. That's fine. What elements strongly make it unique? Is an elevated motorway. Featured 2 short tunnel sections. Okay, interesting, yeah. Okay. So yeah, you've got the Vildebras tunnel and the IFEMA Madrid tunnel. I guess that's why, you know, we saw this at Miami, right? When they had the really awkward section, is because they need to slow down the cars for that section because there's a motorway above. You don't want airplane crashes when there's a motorway there, like a Weber-esque, you know. So they've obviously had to slow down, which is fine. It's fine. Like, you do what you got to do. Slow down the cars before you get to the tunnels. I mean, that's what you get with a street circuit, I suppose. You have to deal with these things. And it's not a street circuit, Ted. It's a hybrid circuit. Okay, this is how they're selling it to us. Garage, don't care about that. An area of the circuit immediately name-checked by Wilson as one to watch is the run between turns 7 and 9, which is said to be quite steeply downhill, thanks to the rise after the tunnel transition from... Okay, so 7 and... This hasn't got numbers on it. 1... Oh. I guess it's the bit where the Wildebras tunnel is. I think that's 7 and 9. Because, I don't know, these are probably... For this little, after the start-finish straight, they've probably got about 4 different corner names for this, like, long, curved straight. Yeah, that's what I mean. After the first tunnel. So, like, after the Wildebras tunnel, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Large radius turn 10. Yeah. So turn 10, the Wildebras curve, that's the large radius turn 10, has scope to be banked. Oh, so they might bank it. Zandvoort-esque. Discussions are ongoing as how bank we make it, what kind of banking, blah, blah, blah. Banking would be cool. Kind of like Zandvoort, final corner. Following section from turn 13 to 17, we'll see the drivers build up some serious speed between a collection of buildings and grandstands, making for an ambitious plan that should please both the drivers and the fans watching at the side of the track and on TV. Are you ready to be pleased, everyone? Ready to be pleased? Right. When will it be ready to race? F1 Canada for 26. Lots of hard work. Blah, blah, blah. Achieved the grade 1 track license, homologation, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So, I mean, the ambitious plan is to bring this to life, I guess. Track looks better anti-clockwise. Do you think? Well, again, I think with a tunnel, you couldn't have that. It's kind of set one way, but... Yeah, so here we go. Madrid Grand Prix 2026. Sochi regen, but I guess once we get the F1 game, we'll be able to see. I feel like I've got a sneeze coming. Oh, it's right here. The sneeze is like here, but it won't come out. Apparently it helps to look to light, doesn't it? I'm looking right in my key light and it's not helping. So, Jaff, to confirm, so Catalonia's deal runs out after 2026. So the final Catalunya race is in 2026. The first Madrid race is also in 2026. So as long as nothing changes, there will be 2 Spanish Grand Prix in 2026, the first year of the new regulations, if nothing changes. And apparently, and now I was reading some other articles before, there is potential for Catalunya to stay. This doesn't necessarily mean that Catalunya is gone. But that seems pretty likely. Oh, is it sunlight specifically? Fair enough. Where are you supposed to pass? Apparently, this is the 24th version of this track. So I hope they've thought of it. And yeah, 25 races. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. For 26, I do wonder, does that mean that it goes up to 25 races for 26? Because then as soon as they get to 25, they're not going to go back down to 24, are they? Not permanently. To save Barcelona, I'll drop Miami. Can we have a 25th version? Well, this could be a good little video. Part of the reason I did this a live stream rather than a standalone video is because I am cooking, okay? I am cooking. Because you all know what time of the season it's coming up to. So, and we all know what team dropped their livery very early without telling anyone. So I'm busy with that. That's the video for this week. So this gets, which I like to think we've covered everything really. I mean, all we can do is analyse the picture we've been given. 25 races is a joke. Too many races. Yeah, it's again, people will watch. if you do 25, 26, 30 races, people will still watch, you know. I think it's very normalized for people to consume sport all of the time, but that's not really my concern. My concern is for personnel, and because there's no other sport that its normal league, its normal season travels all around the world. Like, no other sport really does that, and not at the frequency that F1 does either. You get like tennis, I guess. You got athletes traveling all the time, but again, it's the athlete. But outside of that, in terms of the operations, it's pretty minimal, right? So yeah, I might have to have a go at redesigning this. Looking at, look, if this section to the right hand side is basically a blank slate, do I think they could have done better than this? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I think right now, to me, this circuit. That didn't work because I had the wrong desktop audio on. But you know what I mean. I'm sure you heard. Hang on. Let me replay it. There you go.
5 seconds. It's a yoke. A yoke.
Is it a yoke? Maybe it's a yoke. Maybe it's a yoke, and maybe.
All the time you have to leave a space.
And maybe there's not space. Maybe there is no space. Maybe there's insufficient space for overtakes. Let's see how that poll has done now that 58% of you think that this will be worse than Catalonia for racing. 28% think about the same. 14% think it will be better. So 42% of you are somewhat positive. 58% of you are very much not. Why not return Valencia's long gone. Second sector looks smooth flowing at least. Yeah. I mean, for qualifying, this track will be pretty cool. You know, I think it'll be a good challenge for the drivers as it is. I'm concerned. Let me remind you that F1 want to be carbon neutral by 2030. Well, those carbon offsets coming in clutch, Mango, I reckon. But yeah, I might have a I might have a go. If there is to the right hand side of this motorway that runs through the middle, if there is pretty much free reign to do whatever you want, which by the look of this image, it looks like there is pretty much free reign to do whatever they want, then I think they could have done better than this. You know? So that's just my overwhelming thought. Like, at least put one, like, really hard braking zone in. You know? I don't know. Wildebras curve has been copied from Zandvoort. Zandvoort fired it for final turn. Yeah, and they're saying they're going to bank it as well. They're driving clockwise. Right here. Clockwise. Madrid training ground is bottom right, yeah. Yeah, no, they're right next to it, aren't they? But yeah, there we go. Spanish Grand Prix. Sorry, it's not Spanish Grand Prix. It's the, what's it called again? It's the Gran Premio de España. Gran Premio de España. Gran Premio de España. There you go. Is coming for 2026. So fingers crossed, it will be good. This is the current track. I remember when Miami was announced and the version of the track that they first suggested was changed. They added that hard braking zone, turn 1. That wasn't in the initial drawings. So I'm sure we are not the only people to have this feedback, that we're a bit concerned about overtaking opportunities. And maybe they'll look at that and adjust. But yeah, and hopefully Fernando sticks around for long enough to actually get a go on it as well. That'd be sick. So yeah, subject to change, subject to tech regs and homologation. We'll see. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. That was fun. That was interesting to go over. Don't forget to drop a like on this stream if you have enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Double check, because you might think you are, but you might not be. And you can listen to this in audio-only forms as well. Tommo's Race Chinwag. Thank you, Sam, Elliot, Jack, Geronimo, Prithvi, Clarkey, DH, Sam, Charmander, Jamie, Andy, Shantanu, Lucas, Rayner, Siobhan, Aurel, Philip, Madav, David, Miguel, Ashutosh, Dimmy, Luca, Andre, Ben, Redical, Wesley, Formula Cars, JGM Racing, Luther, Mango, for joining me on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcast, wherever you are in the world. And we are done. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.